So today's topic is find your superpower and ambition. And it's the first webinar of leading yourself inside of Succeed. Um, and my name is Jens Heitland. I'm one of the co-founders of Succeed. I'm experienced international corporate manager. I've been leading a couple of 100 people over time in different national and international companies over the last basically 24 plus years. So that's where I come from. I have a professional coaching education, which is about leadership education or leadership coaching. And I'm bringing a couple of these things as well into today's webinar. So it's great to have everyone with us, and I'm really looking forward to the webinar. But let's get started to not lose even more time. So for questions, I know the chat with YouTube is working. I'm not using it to see to answer questions today because I want to keep it short. So we will do a live Q&A on Wednesday, October 12th, 8 p.m. Amsterdam time, 2 p.m. New York time, 11 a.m. Los Angeles time. If you have questions, you can of course use the chat. I will pick them up into next Wednesday's live Q&A, or you can send them to succeed@heitlandinnovation.com, which is still the official email in the moment at least. So if you have questions, shoot them via email or inside of the chat. I see at least that Stuart is right now, can see and can hear me. Thank you, Stuart, for the feedback. Okay, so we're having two topics today. One is superpower and one is ambition. And this is for me one of the foundational topics when you learn to lead yourself. That's why I'm often when I'm teaching this topic, starting with these two topics when it comes to leadership. So let's go into it. Superpower. The definition of superpower is basically the red thread or through line of your life, something that you are naturally good at. So it's really something where you're specifically good at, and you basically do it without thinking about it. And we will go more into details about this in this section, and then we will go really into how you can develop it and you can find it for yourself. So why you should you know your superpower? For me, it's a major shift when you know your superpower in your personal and career development. It's extremely helpful to know your superpower and engage with your superpower for personal branding, for career development, and really on how you develop your personality inside of your superpower, because often we don't know what our superpower is and we are not utilizing that superpower. If you know that, it's very, very helpful. And of course, when you're a leader, you will lead naturally through your superpower. And that's, of course, then as well helping in delegating. So how do you find it? For me, it's very simple, but it uses a little bit of work. So I would like you to take a sheet of paper, which can be an A4 paper or letter size paper if you're in the US, whatever paper you find, at least big enough. So you take the empty sheet of paper and then you draw a line across the paper. And on that line, you start with 2 points. One dot is the childhood, which is the left side, and the other dot is today. And we are only focusing between these 2 points in this exercise because we are not looking forward. You can do another version that's looking forward, but we are not going to do that today. So it's childhood to today. And what we are doing is basically what I did simplistic here, basically dotting a couple of key milestones of your life. I will give you now a couple of the examples. School time was an important one for me. The first girlfriend is often an important one. They're not all for me, but you get the point. So the first job is an important point in life. Being a football coach, being promoted to a manager in company XYZ, leading a project, finishing a marathon, changing companies, getting children. There are a lot of things which happen in your life. And often we are not considering them as a totality. Often we of course remember specific situations, but it's more about being really aware of them. And that's why I want you to take your time. This is really about brainstorming what are different specific situations. And this is just the example I put. That's very, very high level. You can go really, really deep in finding out what are different key milestones in your life where you basically change, where you experience something very, very specific. Then the next part is you connect attitudes, behaviors, tasks, and even feelings to all of these different moments in your life. So, for example, what I have, school, helping others was a big thing in school. Finding the first girlfriend, being funny was connected to that. Teamwork when it comes to the first job. Football coach is motivating. Promotion to the manager as building a team first time in your life. Communicating across departments was maybe when you have been leading a project, finishing a marathon, helping a friend to finish, and changing the company, striving for a bigger team. So it's a lot of topics which help you to put down your feelings, behaviors, and tasks that are specifically to you. So that's the first step in finding your superpower. Now you have mapped out different points in life and different attitude, task, behaviors that are connected to that different milestones in your life. The next step is that you go and interview your family and friends. And I'm always saying family and friends because they're most probably saying the truth to you. So it's really take your time, and I have a couple of example questions here which you can ask them. What do you believe I'm naturally good at is always a good question. So these are kind of coaching questions which are not giving them directly a direction of what they should answer, but they help you basically help them to understand and help them to give you an answer. What is the reason you picked this topic? So that's going a level deeper. When they tell you you're maybe good in motivating people, and then you go a level deeper. Can you describe, sorry for the typo, can you describe a situation that reflects that, so that they go even deeper, where they explain, if we take motivation as one of the topics. I have had a situation where someone is describing this, and then they go deeper into how did you motivate maybe a teammate, maybe a family member, or maybe someone in sports and or work. And then you can ask the question, if I would be a superhero, what character would I be? So you're not starting with the superhero question, you're starting with the other topics to get the person first diving more into deep depths, and then you give them the chance to ask them about the superhero. And superhero is of course connected to the superpower. And then important for you, document what you learned. Document what they are saying, like the real words, but as well document what they say between the lines, what you hear between the lines. So that's the second step. And then the third step is you start analyzing all your insights. And then it's really all about what are the common superpowers? What did you hear? What did you find out yourself? If you have had a through line in your first mapping, what is the through line? Is there something in this example? It could be motivating people, leading people. What do the others say to you? Is that the same? Is it something else? Do they see different points? And then it's really understanding what are the common superpowers. And then the next step is, if you would reduce it to one superpower, how does that feel? How does it feel to yourself? Is that a superpower you truly believe in, or is it kind of still too superficial? So go for it and decide for one you really feel is the right one. And then it's not about that you have that for life. Validate it going forward. Let's say it's a 3 months period where you say, okay, now I will try if this is motivating people. If we take that example, if this is your superpower and you really can dive into it, and then over time you feel, does it feel right? Adjust if needed. Take a different one if there's another one which is close by as well. If you have found your superpower, for example, my superpower I have found out over the last years is connecting people. Then go all in and build your personal brand around it. Because if you truly have a superpower, like I have with connecting people, bringing different people together in different circumstances, and doing that naturally, you will succeed in a far better way than if you don't know your superpower. It's extremely valuable, I can tell you, because it doesn't cost any energy for you to use your superpower. And a lot of other people doing the same thing, for example, motivating people, or in my case, connecting people, need a lot of energy and a lot of willpower to overcome their personal hurdles to do that. If it's naturally to you, you're already 5 steps ahead of other people. So it's really welcome to your superpower and embrace it going forward. Use your superpower wherever you can, as often as can, and fine tune it over time. Because as more you refine it, as more successful you are, and as more you are basically stepping out of the crowd, and people see that you have this superpower. And it's not necessarily that you always need to talk about it, that you basically, in my case, I'm not talking too much about, except when I'm teaching, that I have this connecting superpower. I'm just doing it and people are experiencing it over time. Let's get into the ambition. Ambition. For me, it's not the ambition some people think. So, in my view, the ambition and the definition of the ambition is an invisible energy source that drives you to get out of bed every day. It's something that's invisible for everyone else, and that's something that drives you every day. Go out of bed, getting into the grind, doing things you maybe don't like, but the ambition and the energy source is there. And that's important because you need to, and that's already the next slide, because if you know where you get the energy from, then it's as well you see if it is fading. I have had a lot of people that I've worked with over the last specifically 10 years. They have lost their energy, they have lost their ambition. They didn't want to go to work anymore, they didn't feel like doing the next step, they didn't feel like going all in. So what we needed to do with these people is backtracking of when did you lose the energy. If you know this already before, you can basically track your energy and understand where you are today. And when you lose it, then you know when it happened. And as well, you can avoid situations that suck your energy. Very, very important as well, because then you can direct your way of working, you can direct where you want to go, and you can direct which situations you approach in which way, and as well people. So how can you find it? I always use a 2x2 matrix. So find again a sheet of paper, put a 2x2 matrix, and then I have in the horizontal part I have unhappy and happy, and in the vertical part I have on the top high energy and on the bottom low energy. And it's a super easy exercise. It's just making it conscious for you. And I give you now again an example. So I've mapped a couple of things. They're not all from me, but some of them are from me, at least for people who know me. It's basically mapping out situations that give you energy and situations that suck your energy. And of course, high energy, happy is the green box in the top right, and unhappy, low energy is the red box in the bottom. What I've mapped out for me, for example, is helping people is in the top right corner. Produce my podcast is in the top right corner. Traveling is in the top right corner. Exercising, reading books, coaching. And then in the bottom one is corporate hierarchy, micromanagement, power play, politics, silly processes. And then I have just 2 examples in the blue boxes, which is low energy and happy. It's kind of watching Netflix, watching TV. Makes people happy, but it's kind of not giving you too much energy most of the time. And then unhappy and high energy is kind of focusing on failures. It makes you unhappy, but can give you a lot of energy to change it. So this is an example which you can easily use as well as snapshots over time. When you do this, let's say every year, you sit down for 2 hours and put down, map your superpower, map your ambition, and really go into details and look if there are changes. Look if you can refine them going forward. it's fairly easy to put this out, but it's what I see specifically when I work with people in corporate and young leaders. You don't know your ambition, you don't know your superpower. So being conscious about what you think about yourself, being conscious of how you see things and use them in your life as an opportunity. And that's exactly what this is. Use your ambition to guide you. Seek situations, people, positions, organization that give you energy, so you can use it as a compass. And then avoid as well people, organizations, positions, work, tasks, whatever that suck energy. Really using it as an opportunity for you to find the way where you want to go. And as well, sometimes it's hard to say no. Sometimes it's hard to say to a person you spend a lot of time with that this person is not the right person for you anymore. So it takes a decision to go over that hurdle. And it's what I have learned working with people. It's a choice. It's your choice to decide, I want to go towards my ambition, I want to get energy, I want to work with people that give me energy, I want to work with organizations that give me energy, and I'm not going to let people and organizations or other things steal energy from me. So it's really a big step if you do this consciously, in leading yourself. And then the last part of today is really combining your superpower and ambition. That's the most powerful thing you can do. Combine what you're naturally good at and the topics where you get energy from. If a very, very simple example in my life, wherever you see me, I'm naturally good in connecting people. That's basically my superpower. And my ambition is, I love to help people. I love to develop people. I love to give people an opportunity to grow. And where I've combined them is one part in my coaching practice, and the other part I've combined that in my podcast as an example. Two completely different topics, but I've combined the superpower and ambition where I help people in my podcast and connecting people through my podcast as well. And I'm connecting with people. So that's an example from my side. And of course, for you, it will be different, but it's really about how can you succeed using and combining your superpower and your ambition. So that's it already for today. As said, I will do a very, very short one. There's a live Q&A on Wednesday. So Wednesday I will do a live Q&A. If you have questions, please shoot them to succeed@heitlandinnovation.com. You can do this even if it's after that, because we will do a lot of more sessions. I have a couple of very, very, very interesting educators lined up who will be doing webinars over the next coming months on different topics, from organizations, from leading yourself, and as well leading others and leading communities. That's it for today. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you in the first webinar, and I'm looking forward to a lot of more webinars. If you have questions, please send them to succeed@heitlandinnovation.com. Thank you very much.